All right. Welcome to Outlaws to Advocates. We're here. I forgot the music, so there we go. Best song ever. The Price is Right. Live on air. We have a special guest tonight. You want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
My name is Erich Walton. For those who want to know my alter ego, Easy Money, Mr. Easy with a Z, get motivated and do something. Pleasure to be here.
Glad to have you, man. You got great energy. We got to talk a little bit before we started off. Awesome to have you here, man. It's awesome to have the energy.
Awesome
I feel your gratitude to get to do what you do. It's palpable, and it's pretty awesome to have you over here. Jesse doesn't make a lot of good decisions, you know, and tonight he did, man. He brought over a friend of his, and we're super glad to have you. So good job. That was a couple of good decisions you made this week.
Uh-oh.
That's good.
He's on a roll.
That's good to see.
Believe it or not, I've been in prison with everybody at this table.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
It's looking pretty good, sounding pretty good right now.
Yes, sir.
So that's pretty awesome.
Absolutely.
Before we start this off, obviously it's 9/11 today. We all know what happened back in 2000. And we'll just take a moment of silence and never forget what happened that day. All right. So here we are, kicking this off. We always start off every week with the highs and the lows. I'm going to go ahead and start with the highs tonight. I usually call on one of you guys for that. But I'm going to start with the highs because yesterday I had a really good conversation with my son. And obviously through addiction, I had ostracized and pushed away my entire family. Of course, at the time, I thought it was all their fault. It was on everybody else's. None of it was my fault. But since I've gotten back on a path of personal development and recovery and moving forward, I've slowly been able to obtain forgiveness and acceptance. And the fact that I got to talk to my son last night, like, it's easy sometimes for me not to be grateful or take things for granted or whatever. And it's just having that conversation with him and having Frankie last week and making me think like, hey, my mom let me back in her house. You know, like I hadn't been in my parents' house, welcome there, and I can't remember how many years. And even my brother, who I hadn't talked to in forever, who chose not to talk to me, he's back in my life. So the gratitude that I have to have my family back and the relationships that I have from them and the support, man, that felt good. It was like a 2-hour conversation last night. And awesome. To be honest with you, I had a hard time going to sleep after that. You know, I had that body hive just from gratitude and appreciation. But I probably won't have a hard time going to sleep tonight because it's been like a 14-hour day already. So that's where I'm at. And as far as my lows go, I really don't have any, man. Things happen. We hit obstacles or whatever, but every challenge it's just an opportunity to do something different, do something better, figure out a way around it. Life's pretty good, and I'm pretty grateful. So those are my highs. Jesse, you want to go next?
Sure. High for the week, I got to drive out to Crossroads Mesa and support my brother. You know, as you guys know, a few weeks back, he got arrested. Since then, he's been bonded out, and now he's in treatment. And it's just, I'm so happy that he's got an opportunity at this path. And even though I just wanted to choke him, you know, when he was using, you know.
Why?
When he's trying, you know, I want to support him. And I want to do everything I can to try to help him because I want nothing more than for him to find what I've found. You know, I just want him to get it. You know, you get on this path of transformation and change, and you start seeing what it does in your life, and it's just you want to take everybody with you. You don't want to leave anybody behind, especially your family. And it's just when you see that little glimmer of hope, you know, you just want to do everything you can to ignite that flame and help them find that.
Absolutely. That's pretty awesome because that was the first thing you said when you came. Hey, my brother's doing pretty good. Yeah. That's family, right? Awesome. It's awesome. It's funny that you mentioned your high was driving.
Did not mention my high was driving.
Well, it was driving.
That is my low.
Oh, okay. Yeah. My bad.
In the parking lot, I ripped the front bumper off my Audi.
Pulling into the parking lot.
Yeah. but I'm grateful I have a car.
There it is.
There it is.
That's what I'm talking about. That's an
I own
actual real-time gratitude practice. Anybody out there that might be learning, that's gratitude in action right there.
And I have a license, and it's legal, and it has insurance,
Right.
and it doesn't have a bunch of drugs in the trunk. You know.
Man.
Those are all huge wins, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
What about you, Easy?
I would say my high for the week and probably every day is I have a newborn.
Oh, awesome, man.
He's 4 months, and one thing I prayed to God when I was inside was I just wanted the ability to be able to start another family, have that opportunity to have that family. I feel like some of the places that we come from, it's just so easy to be full of hate and try to be hard, and it's not really who I feel like I wasn't created to be. So there's that heart in there that wants to give away that love, but it's hard for me to do that, but not with my newborn. It's such a natural, amazing experience in this time, because I have other children, but this time it's just, it's sober, it's real, it's every day. I'm in the moment, and it's a high in itself. Like I get high off this baby. He loves me. I'm his dada. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And, I mean, it's just probably the most amazing thing in the world. And couple that with I'm newly married. I got married this year.
Oh, that's
My
awesome, man.
wife is
Congratulations.
amazing. And I couldn't be happier with that. That is my high probably every day, all day.
That's awesome, man. Thank you, bro. Appreciate you. What about you, man? What's up with your highs?
My highs for the week is like you, George, and like Jesse here, and like yourself, Easy. The experience of family. So I've only seen my nephew, Seth, one time since he was a baby, probably about 3 or 4 years old. And we had a conversation for about an hour just on the enrichment of his life and spiritually.
How old is he?
He's now 20 years old, 19 years old.
Awesome.
And he plays for GCU. Shout out to GCU. He plays on the basketball team.
Awesome.
We had a good conversation, lengthy conversation about just life, relationships, education, the values behind spirituality, and I felt like we could have just kept talking forever.
No, that's awesome, man.
Yeah. So that door is open, and I'm very grateful for that. No real lows for the week. Got my scheduled a plane ride out to Carlsbad to go speak for Cocaine Anonymous. That was cool.
Awesome.
Yeah, I haven't really experienced any lows. Just like you said, just day-to-day challenges. Wake up, rinse, and repeat with a positive attitude.
Absolutely, man. That's awesome.
I'd like to mention a low, because I'm very big on being transparent. I have an amazing life right now on the outside of prison. However, when I got out, I was blessed to get a 16-year-old child that I'd never, ever, I seen him once in his life. I got full custody of him. Amazing thing, right? Well, since he's come out here, he is now on the path that I used to be on. And, he's got expelled from school. We got him back in. He graduated early, ripping and running the streets, hanging with people that have guns in the car and all of these things. He's run away. I've had to file a missing persons report on him. He thinks he's hard. I want to knock his little ass out. You know what I'm saying? Went behind my back, had my mom take him to an arraignment because he got a charge. So behind my back, they're doing this. So I had to pull up on the probation officer and do all this stuff like that. So I just want to put out there that, there is a low, it's just I'm dealing with it differently.
Yep.
These days, right?
Absolutely.
And sometimes you got to kind of, like the saying goes, let go and let God.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Because it's I'm sitting here for the life of me. I'm providing this kid such an amazing lifestyle. We live nice. What are you doing? You know what I'm saying? It's so hard, and he is just so gung-ho on going down this path. And it's what do you do? You know what I mean? That's the worst. It's the parents' worst nightmare, especially people like us who've been down there. And I can tell you, you don't want to go. You don't want to go down there. And he just won't listen. So I just wanted to put that low out there.
Yeah, that's awesome. And like you said, there are lows. There really are. The stuff that, thankfully, the stuff that's been going on in my life has just been minor obstacles, minor hiccups, maybe inconveniences, stuff that used to really trash me. Like I got fired from a job, and that was my excuse. Oh, now I gotta sell. I gotta sell drugs. They fired me.
Right.
I got to.
You have to.
Right.
What else am I gonna do? Nobody else on this planet's ever been fired from their job
Yeah,
before.
twist my arm, why don't you?
Yeah, there's no. God, I guess I gotta go back to selling drugs.
Yeah.
But like you said, we handle it differently. Even those deeper lows, the lows that are, you know, like you were just talking about, when families suffer, and when you're watching like a car accident in slow motion that you can't stop.
Man.
It's, you know, that's different. But you also mentioned that you're handling it differently, right?
Absolutely.
Your coping skills are at a different level.
Absolutely.
And that's phenomenal, man. Like I don't think there's a blanket approach to recovery or personal development
Right.
or moving forward. I really don't think there's a blanket fix.
Right.
I think
But I do think coping skills apply
that
to everybody.
it's really
tools,
really
yeah.
cool. And what you're saying too is that he's 16 or 17, and you've never. So this is all a new experience for him and for you.
Completely, yes.
The cool thing is that you're in a different place now, and you get to teach him how to treat you, right? From a positive space, a healthy space, what it feels like to be a father who understands structure and discipline, all the things that you could never provide for him before.
Right.
And now you have a great opportunity to do so, regardless of whatever he goes through, as long as you can stay consistent, and he'll eventually catch on, like we all have. Maturity doesn't come with age; it comes with the amount of responsibility a man wants to take with his own life.
Right.
You know?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's
I remember,
Edwin Lewis Cole, by the way.
Nice. I remember too, you know, when I first got out, you know, I paroled at my dad's house, and my brother was there using an active addiction. And I remember one day I just lost it, and I went off on him. And, you know, for the way he was treating my dad, what he was doing to the house, having people in and out. And I remember him looking at me right in my eyes with tears in his eyes, and he says, "What do you think I've been dealing with my whole fucking life?"
Yeah.
You know? And I just felt like I felt so small.
Yeah, a little. Yeah.
Because how do you respond to that?
Yeah.
You know, the only way I could respond was to take it,
No,
because it was absolutely true.
no.
You know, what I told him was it was wrong then and it's wrong now.
Absolutely.
And the thing is that just because I made mistakes in the past and you're making mistakes now doesn't mean that we should keep putting our dad through this.
Right.
He's old, he's retired. He doesn't need the stress.
And he's pretty freaking cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It could kill him.
Yeah.
You know, but it was just hard. But taking a step back, being able to see that reality that, you know, when I was using drugs, I used to think, well, I'm not hurting anybody but myself. You know, I'm just putting the drugs in my body. I'm the one that has to do the prison time. I'm the one that has to live with the consequences. That's not true.
Right.
You know, when I was using, I hurt everybody around me that cared about me.
No. 100%. So every week we have, well, I shouldn't say every week, but whenever we have a guest pick a topic, right? And I know I was so slammed. I know Jesse told me yesterday, and like literally today, my day started at 4 this morning, and I got here about 15 minutes before you guys did.
Oh, okay.
So I've absolutely forgotten the topic.
But you can go ahead and remind us.
Oh, wow.
And start it off.
I don't even, let me,
I think it was balance.
it's
and
probably, okay, balance, and I think it was.
the pressure we put on ourselves.
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
Yeah, I'm so glad I'm not the only one who forgot it.
Well, he's like, hey, man, we have our guests come up with the topic. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I just spouted some. But both of those are very near and dear and true to me.
What was it? Balance and...
I think they're one and the same. Balance and the pressure that we put
Yeah,
on
absolutely.
ourselves as addicts trying to make up for the lost time.
Yeah.
Right? I know for me, I am overly ambitious, right? It's the same way I used drugs and was running the streets.
I love that.
If I do it, I'm gonna motherfucking do it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm all in, you know, and so I'm like that in my regular life, whether it be when it comes to my businesses or whether, you know, whatever it is that I do, I'm all in. And so, you know, trying to make up for that lost time, and coming kind of through, I think we all sort of have some ties to that, like, you know, the rehabilitation and the reentry, right? So when I came up through the halfway houses and then I was managing the halfway houses and stuff like that, I myself, but I've also seen other people trying to rip and run and make up for all this lost time, and that actually leads them to the path of addiction.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, because either something happens and they stumble and they're not able to keep that crazy trajectory. And so it's like, well, I give up. I'm going to go use. or you put so much pressure on yourself, which I can do, right? Because it's never enough. I can't tell you how many amazing good things in my life that I have, but there's just something inside of me that won't let me stop. You know what I mean? And I'll never use again. However, I can see, for me, the using isn't the problem. It's something internal, right?
Absolutely.
It's not the drugs. That's just a way to cope with what's going on inside. So there's something inside that has me thinking I've got to do, like, I'm so overly goal oriented that if I don't do something every day that's better than the day before, then I feel like a failure. You know what I mean? And it's like, well, who's putting these expectations on you? And it's like, I've actually had a therapist ask me that. Who's putting these expectations on you? You know what I mean? And it is myself, but it's like, well, I've done 13 years in the penitentiary. Like, I've got a lot of fucking time to make up for. I'm no spring chicken anymore.
You're not young like me.
Growing younger by the day. But I think it's a good topic to discuss. At least for me, it hits home with me.
Absolutely.
Balance is
super important, and it's also, like you said, man, for people. I know, like, I'm just getting to know you a little bit, but I know what Jesse said, and I can pick up pretty quick by the stuff you're saying. Everybody at the table's in a pretty good mental health state, right? Everybody here's on a good path.
Absolutely.
And like you said, like me personally, I know we lost time, right? I get that. I've made peace. Like, I'm not getting that time back, right? So I'm taking that off, and I'm not. This is just for me.
Right,
so I'm taking that off my plate. But on the same token, I'm out here running and gunning and doing everything and applying those behaviors the same way. And I don't think it's because I lost time. I think that's because how I'm built.
Right.
That's just who I am. Like, I don't do normal shit.
Right.
I didn't do normal shit when I was using and all that.
Right.
Normal people don't go to prison.
Right.
People who are average don't go to prison. It's people that are extreme in their beliefs and their actions and all that. And I firmly believe, man, that most of our behavior, and I'm not talking about criminal behavior. I'm just talking about, like, our characteristics, our attributes, all that stuff that we did to get high. Those are great behaviors.
Right. If harnessed.
Yeah, if you like you said, you're goal oriented. You have goals. You want to do something better than the next day.
Right.
Well, then you take that tenacity and that resilience and that, like, if you look at my old mindset, like when I got fired from that job, I just gave up and went to go doing drugs.
Right.
I don't have that anymore. Now I have actual tangible goals. I know what they are. I write them on the fucking board behind me.
Right.
So I see them every day.
Right.
I got to look at them.
Right.
But I'm going to make them happen, because if I wanted to get high, I was going to get high.
Absolutely.
That's how I get high now. This is how I get high now. Being with
Right.
my family's how I get high now. Talking to my mom's how I get high now.
Absolutely.
That's going to happen. Even though my mom don't always answer my FaceTime, I'm going to call back.
Call back.
But yeah, we're like, once we get that that focus.
Yeah, I think it's definitely it's a fire being lit under your ass. I see it very often with people coming out, like, not everybody, but you know what I mean? I do see. And then the fire slowly dies for some people.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like, they kind of hit that plateau and that peak, and then it's downhill. It just never dies with me. Like, I can't stop. It's just something inside of me.
I love it, man.
But even my wife is like, just like, I can't even watch TV. Like, I can't, you know what I mean? And so I have to ask myself, like, man, is this an addictive personality? You know what I mean? Or am I just I'm at these goals and I'm gonna make it happen no matter what. So, and sometimes my tenacity can, put pressure on my relationships.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Because I'm so focused on, I'm locked in. I'm like a fucking bloodhound.
Yeah.
But then I noticed that my relationship with my 17-year-old suffers, or my wife's like, hey, we haven't had a date in a while, or, I'm not spending enough time with baby or mom, or, you know what I'm saying? And so, that's kind of where the balance thing comes in for me.
Okay, so how do you apply that? How do you apply that balance?
I would be lying to you if I said I had the math figured out, right? I think that one thing about it is this is a learning. I'm a 38-year-old man who would love for the world to believe that I have my shit figured out, but I fucking don't. You know what I'm saying? And because for the last 30-something years of my life, I've been an addict, this is all new. Just like the experience with my 17-year-old, the experience with my newborn, it's all new. I feel like a fucking baby. I'm a smart ass baby. But, you know what I'm saying? But I feel like, you know what I'm saying? It's like experiencing life for the first time again, right? It's a new mindset. It's a new belief system. And the only thing I can do with balance is internally go to my source and, you know, be aligned enough to hear like what God is speaking to me, because when I'm in the wrong, I get it in here.
Yeah.
And then I have to say, okay, take the wife on a date, go apologize over here, do that. That's all I can really do right now. And, you know, therapist says self-care, self-care, self-care. Man, fuck self-care, I'm trying to get this money. You know what I'm saying? That's self-care to me, you know, but I'm still in the process of learning how to balance.
Absolutely.
That's good stuff, man.
So when you talk about getting in alignment,
Yes, sir.
right, getting your, I forgot how you worded it, but getting in alignment with your source, I think you said.
Yeah.
What does that look like? Like,
So
how do you make that happen?
So for me, there are quite a few ways. Like I'm a health nut, right? Like I believe in health. When I got on the path to sobriety, I went down a deep rabbit hole. I'm talking about everything from the diet that we have. Like, you know, they have studies out there where they took an actual prison and fed half of the prison a bullshit diet and half of the prison a what they considered a healthy diet, right? Had all the micronutrients and everything like that. And just how the prisoners themselves acted were completely different.
That's
right?
interesting.
I think that when we start to heal ourselves in every aspect, spiritually, mentally, physically, taking care. I'm big on going to the gym. I'm big on eating healthy. Like right now, I go to a Chinese herbalist who gives me these herbs that I boil every night that's healing my stomach. That gives me more energy. I'm clearer. I don't have as much brain fog. I don't need fucking 15 monsters to get through my day anymore. You know, I'm without caffeine. Like these are things that when I got out, that addictive personality was like, coffee, 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 monster, 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 go, 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 go. But we're harming ourselves. And so for me, alignment means, for me, right?
Yep.
And I'm a very open-minded individual, but for me, what works, I'm in church every Sunday. Like
Nice.
I have to. That's my, like, I love it there. Like I go in there, the energy in the room, God talks to me, and it sets the tone for my week.
What church do you go to?
CCV.
Nice.
Yep, CCV. They've got probably 17 campuses. I live in Levine, so I go to the Levine campus. Shout out to CCV. Amazing people. Head pastor, the security team, they all know me. I've been going ever since I got out. My halfway house when I got out was a mile. You're like, I lived right here. The halfway house was right here, and the gym was right here. I was like, bing, bing.
Honey, I'm home.
Yeah, I'm fucking in there. So for me, my aligning with my sources, for one, God, right? I have to have that because I can't direct my own life. I fuck it up, right? Without God, I don't have my direction, right? So I have to include God, and I don't always, because I think I fucking know everything, right? But come to find out, I really don't. And so God, he, you know, that internal compass, he really guides me, and I'm so appreciative. That's probably the best thing I ever got was my relationship with God, and then my sobriety, and so that eating healthy, the sauna, ice baths, I do it all. Like I don't play. Like I am on a fucking mission to optimize. I want to be the most optimal human being that I can be. That means functioning and fucking clicking on all cylinders.
Yep.
Like, and that for me is aligning.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. What about you, Jesse? What do you do on balance? How do you feel like you're balanced?
A little bit, but I'm going to touch a little bit on what we were talking about first, and that was feeling like we have to catch up. You know, and I think Easy touched on something, you know, when he said almost like felt like there was something to prove. You know, and for my entire life, you know, I was overweight, had low self-esteem, felt like I had no value, and I always felt like I had to prove something. I felt like I had to prove something to all of you so that you would like me and you would accept me the way that I was. So for my entire life, I had a burden on me that I put on myself so that you would accept me as I am because I wasn't comfortable in my own skin. You know, in recovery, or whatever you want to call it, you know, when you take the drugs away, our coping mechanism, you know, I've been using since I was so young. Now I have to re-feel and relive these emotions, these feelings about being that young kid that doesn't feel like he's good enough. You know, so for me, it's not about catching up on lost time. It's about learning to love myself and be comfortable in my own skin. Because at the end of the day, for my entire life, I felt like I had something to prove. And when I started incorporating these tools into my life, you know, a relationship with God, exercise, 12-step program of recovery, learning to help others, learning to care about others, learning to treat others the way I wanted to be treated, learning not to be so hard on myself, learning to incorporate new people into my life, new friendships that are going to add value instead of people that are just going to suck the life out of me. You know, when I start bringing all these things into my life, all of a sudden I start feeling better about myself. I start feeling comfortable in my own skin. I start learning to love myself. And all of a sudden, I don't have necessarily that same burden that I had because I love myself and accept myself the way that I am. That being said, you know, recovery sometimes can get off track for me. I mean, when I look at what I want my life to look like, the things, and when I say what I want my life to look like, you know, I want to include everything that matters to me. I want to make time for everything. And that's family, that's exercise, that's God, that's work, that's service. You know, that's, you know, dating. That's all these different things. And these are all pieces to my puzzle. You know, prayer, meditation, these are all pieces to my puzzle that I have to make time for. And these are all things that have made me the person that I am today. So sometimes I can start working too much and I can start neglecting the workout.
Right.
Or I can start, you know, spending too much time at meetings and neglect time with my family. You know, or I can start dating too much and lose sight of my integrity.
Right.
Because I start being selfish and manipulative to get what I want. You know, and any time that I start teetering this triple beam one way or the other, it can throw me off. You know, so how do I address that? You know, the way that I address it is I try to be aware of the way that I'm conducting myself. I try to be aware of my actions. I try to be aware of my feelings. I try to be aware of my emotions. And I'm honest with people in my life that I'm close to, like Jeremy and George here, and I talk about the stuff that's going on in my life. Because if I don't share it with anybody, secrets grow in the dark.
Absolutely.
And the reality of it is, when I'm able to be open and share these things in my life, that's why it's so important to have a support group of people that you can trust, that are like-minded, that are going to add value, and that are going to tell you, hey, bro, check it out. You're getting a little off.
Accountability partners.
You know, something's different. And all those things, man, incorporated.
And those conversations, you kind of glossed over that part right there.
Yeah.
But those conversations fucking suck.
Right, right.
It sucks when you have to tell your partner, hey, man, I think maybe you might be drinking a little bit too much, or, you know, you might be doing, like.
You almost feel like you're overstepping, but at the same time, you know, like, this is your brother, this is your people. This
And I'm not being a friend.
Right, it's a disservice to you
Absolutely.
if I don't tell you.
And then I got to feel like I don't have integrity.
And you have to have people in your life that you can trust. You don't have to tell everybody whatever your business is, but you have to have people that you can count on, because if you can't trust anybody in your life with what's going on with your life, then who are you left to deal? Who are you leaving to deal with it? The same mind that has taken you to prison, that has taken you to jail, that has taken you back out over and over and over again.
Right.
And it's a dangerous place to be.
No, it very much so. Yeah.
Oh.
Absolutely. What about you, man?
Well, I'm really grateful for the fact that you brought this up, right? Because I'm my biggest critic.
Right.
Nobody gets to see me the way I see myself. And it's great to have accountability. It's great to be able to call you at 4:30 in the morning and you answer that phone.
I will. Jesse won't.
Well, Jesse won't. Jesse's on a different schedule. But going back, right? Going back to the time element, you can't unring a bell, right? And like George, I made a lot of peace with, you know, my situation, made sense of my suffering, and really targeted what my purpose was going to be. And I started that purpose while I was incarcerated, and I built it from the way out, right? And it's like this scale. Like when I'm over here, Jesse, and I'm thinking too hard on myself, and I'm being my biggest critic, and I'm beating myself up, right? I'm still thinking too much of myself. And if I'm over here, and the humbleness is out the door, and I'm like things are live, things are so good, right? Like I'm still thinking too much of myself. And with the spirituality factor of the program, which keeps me centered, is that it immediately tells me I need to go be of service to somebody else.
Absolutely.
Right? I need to get up out of my own way and do what I can. And like you guys, man, the tenacity, right?
Right.
It is intimidating, and we have to. It's like sometimes I have to be careful. I want to solve the world's problems, but I'm not smart enough to figure them all out just yet,
Just
right?
yet,
Yeah. Like,
Not-
there's
not
always
yet.
that
It's
just
coming,
yet.
yeah.
It's coming, right? And I have, I had a really good close friend. This is back in 2009. He looked dead at me, square in my eyes, man. And he said, "You know what, man? I'm tired of being in love with your potential." Right?
That's deep.
And I have people in my life that see my potential, believe in my potential, and it's my obligation to follow through on that potential, right? I think it's important because people are always looking, people are always watching. I can guarantee you that there's people in my family and in my life, right, that can't wait to look at the other and say, "I told you so."
Right.
Right? I told you so. And being invited in that door, like you said, George, with family, is one of the greatest gifts that I could ever have, right? That my dad would rely on me, or my stepmom would rely on me to call on me to look after my dad, for a few days, right? Just the responsibility that comes with, and you know what, I think a lot of that big critic stuff, just to kind of travel back, it was, there's a level of guilt and shame that still comes from that past, right? It tries to tell you that you're not good enough, that you don't deserve this, right? But that's that space down here, right? And it's a haunting space. And to talk about it, like you said, George, is very haunting, right?
No.
Like, I'm a man. Like, am I to admit to you, another man, my faults?
Right.
That's tough.
It is tough. So
Especially the real stuff.
stay in balance, right? Yeah, the real stuff,
ugly
right?
stuff.
Not
The ugly
surface,
stuff,
not the
yeah.
surface deep
Yeah,
stuff.
we can have a bad day, but
Yeah.
like I'll tell you right now, like I make these training videos,
Yeah.
and I procrastinate because I don't think I'm good enough to make training videos. I'm like, who am I to do this stuff, right? And saying that stuff out loud, even now, it's probably the first time I said it. Sucks, but it's out there now. I made one last night. I'm about to make another one tonight too. But
So at the end of the day, when I really look deep inside my heart, and where I find spirituality was a gift given to me by my father. And it means one thing: go fishing. I love to get out on the water. I love to catch fish. Something about it is just inherent in me. I know that if I wanted to, I could just walk off the way the wind goes and I would survive. My dad taught me that stuff. So at the end of the day, fishing and reading a good book really does it for me. Finding the time to read those books and finish them, that's a whole nother ballgame.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm still on the first 90 days.
The First 90 Days, great book.
We started that book like 3 months ago.
Yeah, so
I think I'm on page 14.
yeah. Like you said, man, spiritually, just wake up, pray, meditate, and learn all I can, so that way I can be of service to my community. That's my goal, man.
Absolutely.
Keeping it as simple as possible.
It's awesome, man.
Complicating it with my own mind, that's my responsibility to level up and reel it in and ask questions.
Yeah, it's super crazy because for the first time in my life, like I've lived in 8 states, right? I'm people ask me where you're from. I'm a mutt, right? I'm not from anywhere. But I live in Levine, which, if anybody outside of Phoenix doesn't know, it's just like a small suburban, town right outside of Phoenix. And, kind of everybody knows everybody. 51st and Baseline, there's everything you need right there, right? You don't have to travel too far. And for the first time, especially going to the local church and developing the local relationships, whether I'm at EOS or the grocery store, like I see people who, when they run into me, they you can see that they either look up to me or look to me as an equal, as a citizen, law-abiding citizen. That is new, and I love it. It's like a high. I feel like, wow, I feel like I got fucking invited to some fucking party or some shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, damn, this is what's been going on the whole time, and it's so cool because I walk by, I don't have a problem with the police. most of my life has been fuck the police. Let's be real.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with the police, and I don't want, I'm in I'm in an industry where as a rapper, it's, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, I'm not doing nothing, cop can pull me over right now. Hey, how's it going, officer? Okay, insurance and license, here you go. Like, I'm at that place, and it's such a beautiful place to be, like you said, to be of service. Like when you go into your local community and these people just like, they welcome you with open arms, and they know, like, I hold the door. Like, I had somebody tell me the other day, it was two older women, they were coming into the gas station. I opened the door for one, the other one came, opened the door, and they were like, oh my God, it's so nice to still have gentlemen. And I actually made a video about this, and I said, have we set the bar so low in society at this point in time, where you are going above and beyond by holding open a door? It is so easy to be great right now. It's never been easier. Be real, think about it. It's never been easier to be fucking great. You know what I'm saying? You say hi to somebody, you hold the door, you fucking put the shopping cart back where the shopping carts
That's
go.
right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Every detail matters.
And those are the things internally and spiritually. If I fucking want to throw a piece of paper on the ground, internally it's like, pick that shit up. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, it's a beautiful metamorphosis. That metamorphosis that I have gone through as a human being is amazing.
It's amazing how to sit back and say, you know what? I used to care about nothing.
Right.
I cared so little, but I'm so thankful because now I care about everything.
Right, and it makes you feel soft.
That shopping cart statement that you just made means everything about you.
Yeah.
No.
It means everything about who you are as a person.
What do you do with your shopping cart, George?
Yeah, George.
I want to know exactly.
At least my shopping cart has a bumper on it.
When you mix that passion, that passion that we had. I want to get out and I want to do right this time.
Right.
And you get out and you find that purpose, right? So you're just doing simple addition, because passion fueled with purpose builds connection.
Absolutely.
Right? And some people who've never found that, they avoid you. And it's sad because you want them to have it. You want to give it to them.
Absolutely.
Right?
It's freeing.
You're right. It's easy to be great right now.
It's so easy.
Let's talk about your music a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
let's do that. Let's plug it.
Before we got started, we were having some conversations. You said you're traveling, going to Memphis.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Some other places. What's that look like, man? What you got going on?
So before I went to prison, I had a music career. I was a Billboard charting artist, touring. I was out in LA. I was in the movie Straight Outta Compton's. I was on the set with Seth MacFarlane for Ted 2. Like, I was in the mix. I was on the rise, right? I moved out here. I was hanging out with, I went on a tour. I don't know, for anybody familiar, I went on a tour with a guy named Little White. And, his main song he's known for is called Oxycontin. Right? Like, it's Oxycontin, Xans, Percocet, all this shit, right? So I'm on tour with him. I'm going through it with the mother of my kids. I start popping pills in the state of Arizona, and I lost it all, right? I lost everything. I was making 6 figures a year doing this music independently. So, as a way to vent in prison, every time I was like, man, fuck the music. It's over with, right? Like, I'm too old now. And I had, a lot of conversations. And at this point in time in my bid, I was kind of like talking to God, but I was also looking for God through people. I couldn't trust myself yet.
Right.
I could not trust the answer that I got inside, so I needed somebody else to tell me. I don't know if you guys have ever been to that place. I did not trust my relationship with God at that point. I'm like, I don't know if my antenna is crooked or not, So I would ask people that I thought were of good character, right? Because I always seek out good character. And I would just have these conversations. Man, you should just try it. You should just try it. And so the whole time in prison, I remember when we got tablets, people were like, man, I got 600 songs on my tablet. I'm like, I got fucking 600 beats. You know what I mean? And I'm writing. I came home with a folder probably this fucking thick. And it took me a second because I went through a halfway house, man. I didn't have some Cinderella story. I came home and I fucking, I went through a process. And You know, I recently just started doing my music again, and it's been gaining traction. I had a video on TikTok go viral, like took off. It was crazy. I had like 4 celebrities hit me up. It was nuts, man. And I was just like, okay, God, like there's my answer. Should I be? Because even then I was still questioning, like, am I too old to be doing this shit? You know, I got a car business. I got real estate going on. Like, what am I doing here? And for me, in the music, like, yeah, I'm a rapper, but in the music, I always talk about my struggle now. I always touch on God. I always tell where I come from. And more than anything, I have a platform, because one thing about music is we're at a point in time now, they want to fuck with you as a person before they fuck with your music.
But
And so now I have a platform to be able to give that testimony and that story, you know, like, hey, I've been through hell and back, but I'm on the other side now, and if I can do it, you can do it too. So the music's been going good. Like right now, I'll be in Memphis and then Nashville this weekend, and then when I come back, I've got a show in Michigan on the 27th, so I'm flying out there to do that show. Then when I come back, the first part of October, me and my wife's birthday in October, we're gonna go on vacation. And then when I get back from that, I'll be in Atlanta. I've got about 3 different things out there. And then when I get back from that, we'll be going to LA. So, man, it's just a big blessing. I have been accepted with open arms. And I'm ecstatic, man. I'm ecstatic about like the future and what it holds, and the possibilities are endless.
that's awesome because
Super proud of you, man.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
awesome.
Yeah,
Thank you,
super
thank you.
proud of you.
Jesse and I were just talking like, man, if we could do anything in the world, what would it be? And we came up with like, we would really want to be backup dancers.
Hell
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I got
Yeah.
you guys, bro. It's like some real tight outfits you got to put on, though. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I'm
Yeah.
with it.
Tighter the better.
With it.
Unfortunately, George, nobody wants to see that. His music career would tank.
You want to lose followers, bro? Mess with me. But it's so awesome to hear, and like,
So where can somebody right now, any of our listeners, tap into some of your music right now?
So I'm on every platform, Spotify, Amazon, Apple, you name it, I'm everywhere. Easy Money, EAZY, MONEY. Very simple name. Just type it in. I'll come up everywhere.
so awesome, man.
Every platform.
Thank you.
Yeah.
The cool thing
thank
is,
you.
Easy donated a song to us. I don't know if I'm wording this right, but he gave us a song that we could use for our intro.
Absolutely.
Nice.
Game time.
This is not the first time you're hearing this, right?
No, sir.
Okay, I didn't know if Jesse stole it or.
We stole it.
Right. These ones
hold on.
are-
But-
No, absolutely. You know, when he said something about it, I was like, you know what? I got one in the clutch that I've been holding on to, you know, but it speaks, even the lyrics, like in the verses. It just,
Yeah, it's fire,
I
man.
wrote it in prison. Like, the shit that I was writing in there, I was going through. My baby mama left me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I was going through this, like, just like, you know, being on drugs for so long, especially opiates, your fucking chemicals it takes a while. Like, physically, you bounce back, but mentally, emotionally, I feel like there's long-term damage. I want to say it probably took me a good 2 to 3 years emotionally to get back. I remember there were nights where, like, I felt like such a bitch. Like, if you ask anybody on the yard, I was a workout fanatic.
Yeah.
You could not, I would do the most. And I think that was my way of punishing myself. Because there was times I felt so fucking soft because I would just want to cry, dog. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And there were nights I would be on the fence posted and like, I'm not, but like I got tears coming and I would just have of every race come by, hey bro, keep your head up, everything's gonna be okay. And you know, that's the shit I went through and I said, man, I need to put this in the music.
Absolutely.
Like, this is what's going on. And so, you know, that's like when he said something about it, I was like, you know what? You know, I think this would be a good song.
It's great. The only thing we're struggling with is which part of the song to use, man, because
Right.
the whole thing's
I
fire.
appreciate
Yeah.
it.
Like, oh, this part, that part,
whatever
yeah.
you can use, man.
We're gonna end up with a 3-minute intro. Is what's gonna happen. That's awesome. We really appreciate you coming out tonight, man. Hanging
Thank
out,
you so much for having me. I
sharing the
appreciate
stuff, sharing the song. This is. I'm gonna go ahead and say this is probably my favorite episode we've done yet.
Agreed.
This is good energy tonight, man.
Agreed, brother.
Good
Thank you,
energy.
guys. Thank you.
That being said, speaking of energy, Jeremy brought it up. It is Suicide Awareness Month, along with the Recovery
Sure is,
Month.
yeah, yep.
So keep in mind of what that looks like. In 2022, there are 1.6 million suicide attempts. It's a real threat. It's a real problem. Pay attention.
If you see something, say something.
Absolutely.
Ask anyone and everyone how
Especially
they're doing.
with
Lift them up.
addiction now too.
Yeah.
I mean, the fentanyl thing is crazy. I'm so thankful I missed that wave.
Me too.
I had the heroin wave. I was on heroin, but I missed the fentanyl, and it's a soul snatcher.
Yeah.
Yeah, 1 month out of prison, one of my best friends hung himself.
Yeah, it's so bad, and it depletes your chemicals so much when you don't have it. Like you just want to die.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's such a powerful force on the dopaminergic pathway. The body tries to strive for, a new it's called a new normal. It's
Right.
actually called apostasis, when what you experience was post-acute withdrawal symptoms that can carry on for years and years and years. And so some people just, they don't bounce back,
Yeah.
right? Genetically, it's a real thing out there, especially for those in recovery. Like you see a lot of guys, I think, what is that age, 5 to 7 years of sobriety. A lot of individuals lose their life sober as a result too. So definitely prayers and thoughts go out to those that are suffering in silence. We are here for you. If you have nobody to reach out to George, myself, or Jesse, Outlaws to Advocates, Easy Money.
I'll point you in the right direction, or I'll be a friendly ear.
Absolutely. One and the other, man. We ain't got the answers, but we'll help you figure it out. Right?
Absolutely.
And if you are suffering right now, give us a call, 480-628-0867. If you're in an absolute crisis, please call 911 and get the help that you need.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for being with us tonight. We'll talk to everybody soon. Easy Money. Appreciate you, brother.
Thank you, guys.
Absolutely. Thank you.